welcome back to Open Up. I'm Tina Miller.
And I'm Don Clark, your favorite pair on the air with a great show going here. So
Yes. So we're talking with David West and, oh, yes, please. Thank you so much, Chris, for reminding me. Billboards.
there we go. DB Printing and Marketing Company. These are the guys to go to if you need help in printing and marketing. From the biggest company to the smallest, it's David Bass. Great folks right next door to Happy Jack's, right behind the Fox Theater. So they're just about a block away from here. But great people, and they really know what they're doing. Also, a Cruise Through Car Wash. Boy, 5 minutes in and out. Great car wash. Whole new concept, and they're doing great. 7 sites here in Bakersfield, 2 over in Lancaster, so stop by. I go in almost every day. Legal Shield, boy, for help with identity theft, these guys are really the ones to call. It's LegalShieldAssociates.com /open up, and they'll tell you all they can do for you for just, I think it's about 50 cents a day that you can get legal help from top firms.
That's an excellent price. And we'd like to thank our friends at Kern Construction and Electric Incorporated. Robert Miller, a longtime resident of Bakersfield, loves to remodel homes and businesses. And he can be contacted at 661-322-5554. Tell him you heard about it on Open Up. And I understand he got a business call last week from someone hearing about him. Also, I'd like to just give a quick little shout out to A1 Automotive at 2000 Union Avenue. Thank you for taking care of my husband today.
He needed it. I had a little car trouble coming in today. I didn't know if I was going to make it. They gave me this new Lincoln, and I guess it's just push button. And I kept pushing the button. It wouldn't start. And finally, I had to run, get a phone, call the dealership, say, how do I get it? They say, you got to put the foot on the brake to make it. Anyway, all this newfangled stuff, trying to keep up with it.
Cutting edge technology. Don.
We are so surprised to learn from David West that there are more than 100 of these residential facilities here in Bakersfield, not even counting the big ones.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's, Bruce, when you began to consult with David on putting this business together, you'd probably never had any experience in that particular field. So how were you best able to help him?
Well, you're right. I didn't have much experience with that. I have friends who have parents in the larger facilities, so I've been to a number of the large facilities around Kern County. So when they came to me with this novel concept, as I say, I categorized them as dreamers with a vision. I knew that they were really driven and wanting to pursue this. So we looked into some of the regulations, and I help primarily with the business structuring, trying to put together some of the financing, help them with that. As they found different locations, they would kind of run them past me to see whether they're suitable, that kind of thing.
You know, we just need to make clear, Bruce Pelkey here is part of the Small Business Development Center with centers all over California. So, and Bruce, I would imagine as you consult with one business, it increases your expertise for all other businesses. I bet that's a growing body of knowledge that you have.
It does. It's very interesting and exciting because you never know who's going to come in the door.
David, the burnout factor. I mean, my parents tried to care for my grandmother, and my mother just burned out. I mean, she just couldn't handle the stress, and it wasn't 24/7 like you guys do. How do you deal with that?
Well, to begin with, you got to have a love for the profession, and you got to have compassion for the elders. If you don't have that, it's not going to work out for you.
I see.
And you got to.
So it's never just a business deal.
It's not one of those jobs where you're looking at the watch, what time you got to go home. You know, it's you got to love it, and there is a job burnout factor, but that's why you have your relief, caregivers, because if you're there 24/7, eventually you're going to get burnout. You know, it's just a fact.
So it starts with love and it ends with love.
Yeah, you got to have that.
Interesting that both you and your wife, Tina, that you find a couple that have the same heart. That isn't always the case. In fact, I guess your wife is actually getting an award just for the quality of care she gives and the love she bestows. Tell us about that.
Yeah, she was nominated by Mr. Bruce Pelkey here, and it's a great honor for her, and it's a small business woman award, and she's very grateful, and we both are.
Tell us more about it, Bruce. Where is it happening? Is that happening
Sure.
today?
Yeah, it is happening today, 11:30 at the Doubletree Hotel,
Mm-hmm.
over across from the Costco off of Rosedale.
Open to the public?
Open to the public. Tickets, I think, are $40. It is a gathering of different associations, Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, different organizations come together once a year and award outstanding businesses in various categories. And David and his wife have won in the woman-owned business, small business for Kern County.
David, is there a great need for what you're doing? And if so, what would you advise others who might even consider or might have heard about this for the first time and say, hey, maybe we ought to consider doing this? Tell us what you would advise.
Well, my advice is a lot of people just don't have the gift to do it. You know, they just don't have the compassion. So I advise them to going into it to have that compassion, love for the elders, and be willing to take care of them on a 24/7 basis. And it's a hard profession, but I advise them to stick with it if that's what the passion you have, and just go for it.
Yes.
Well, one of the Bruce, you've taught us one of the main questions you need to ask: is there a need for what you're doing?
Oh,
And is there a need? Is that need growing? Is it going to continue to grow? What do you see for the future?
Yes, it is. Because we all get old eventually, and we need that care. And a lot of the relatives are, both the husband and wife both work, and a lot of times it gets to the point where they can't take care of their loved one, and because of medical needs. And they can't do it on their own, so they need that residential care facility to help them out.
We have a young lady in our audience who's in this field, and she doesn't, it's not her home that she opens up, but she goes to the home of the elderly, and she brings on, she has a team, and they, take care of them around the clock if necessary, and stretches out like that. So that's something that you would advise to someone else as, would have a love for taking care of the elderly?
That's a very rewarding profession, if you have it in
Right.
your heart to do it.
Right. So if they are not equipped to have a home to welcome them, they can do, spread the love, as you say. You have to have love for this.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and she does too. So.
Oh, that's great.
Bruce, anything else?
Well, we're excited about the Capital Connectors competition that's coming up. We talked about it a little bit when I was on before, and I think you had some of the gentlemen on that are heading that up.
That's our local version of Shark Tank. Just where local people can go to some local funding sources. So,
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
and you call it Capital Connectors.
Capital Connectors. The competition actually will be on June 4th, and we have several very strong candidates. As you mentioned before, Don, never know who's going to walk in the door. We've got all kinds of products and services in mind that we think are going to get funded.
So is this something the public can come sit like in an audience and watch?
We don't think that's probably going to be the format this time. They're going
Okay.
to do it probably 2 or 3 times a year, but the first time is kind of an experimental
Okay.
arrangement, but we're hoping to have an audience participation situation
Okay.
later on.
David, just in terms of paying for your services, I have the privilege of working with a fellow whose specialty is helping people become financially independent. And one of the things he said many people are missing when they take out their insurance needs, try to cover themselves, is long-term care. And I think on a policy it costs about $6 a month to insure yourself for long-term care, and we all need to be doing that, shouldn't we?
Yeah, we absolutely we should. A lot of people don't think of that, and they should, because it becomes a financial burden to the relatives if they don't have that either money saved or a means to paying the monthly bills.
And it costs so little to do that. It's just, I guess they call it a rider on an insurance policy. You ask for it. I want long-term care on this, and you can cover yourself, and not just a death benefit, but in case you get sick for a period of time.
That's great, because a lot of the elders, they have to end up selling their homes.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And taking that money to pay for long-term care.
See, and what you're talking about, Don, is all about care.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know that the White House has a Capital Connectors type of thing?
I didn't know that. No.
They do.
That's interesting. Yeah.
It's a great concept. It's a
Yes.
great concept because local funding people will know local people, know who to trust, who to put their money on, who to roll the dice with, and they got a sense of the local market. I think it's a genius idea, and I think it's probably going to spread
yes.
all over the country.
Yes.
We're very excited about it.
Oh.
We really are.
Because everyone likes to watch Shark Tank. I know I do.
Me too.
Who's your... He's got the info slides.
Oh,
okay.
let's do that.
Thank you, Chris.
My Home, Your Care for the Elderly. And this is where to find out about it. If you're interested in pursuing this subject and exploring it for yourself, maybe for a loved one, there it is, 661-699-8145. Tina, isn't this interesting stuff?
Yes, Don. It just... I love the word. It begins with love and
Yes.
it ends with love. I mean, that's just what we're made of. And I see Teresa in the audience shaking her head when I said it begins with love and ends with love. And I think she knows that too.
Bruce, would that be true for every business? You better love it to start out with, and you better end loving it, or you're in the wrong business.
Well, and David's wife is an excellent example of that. Rather than leaving the situation at their facility, she's chosen to stay there and take care of the people and send David in her place to accept the award for her.
She'd rather
Very,
care
very
than be on
dedicated.
television. That's,
Right.
That's great.
That's an excellent example. But tell her we'd love to meet her one day.
Oh, absolutely.
too.
That should be-
Okay. Well, about to go to a break.
You bet. We've got one of the
And-
great community leaders coming on next, and the
Yes.
things they do in the community. You're going to want to hear about this. And then at the end, one of the great prayer warriors of California here on the National Day of Prayer to just share her experiences and encourage all of us in that direction.
She's not here right now because
Yes,
she's...
she is.
Oh, she is.
She walked in and took a
she
look at this
received-
full place
Oh,
and decided
okay.
she's in the red green room back there.
Red Green Room. And she received an award this morning. Hopefully
Yes,
we'll hear a little bit about it.
fabulous award. Yes.
Okay. When we come back.